We had a lot of catching up to do today. Hello family, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I am Vicki and you're with Grammy in the kitchen. Last week, if you saw the video where I showed the list of things I wanted to do in the 2 days we were on our weekend, we didn't get everything done. Life got in the way, but that's okay. I'm going to be making some sub bread and also some regular bread so we can make French toast. So let's go ahead and get this day started with the sub bread. Now we're going to start working on the hamburger slash sub bread. 2 cups of water, 3/4 cups of sugar, 4.5 teaspoons of yeast, I have 2.5 pounds, and yes, I did weigh this, of flour. We're going to put approximately half of this in here to make a sponge. And we're going to mix that really well, and then we'll add our other ingredients. 6 tablespoons of butter, 2 eggs, and 2.5 teaspoons of salt. I'm going to go ahead and scrape this bowl down just a bit. Put some flour on our surface. Go ahead and turn our dough onto that. And we're just going to knead it just a bit. Let's go ahead and gather our ends, seal that, close it up really well. Let's set this flour aside. Put some olive oil. This is the top, this was the bottom. Top in first, give it a swish, swish, swish. Flip it. Now we're going to cover this up and let it do its first rise. I am going to label this. So, I don't know if you can see it, but it says subs, hamburger buns, because we're going to make both out of this. Now we need to go ahead and get started on our bread so we can make our French toast. Same mixing bowl, same dough hook, didn't even wash it, it is okay. So I'm adding 2 cups of water, half a cup of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of yeast. Now we're going to let that yeast bloom in the sugar water. 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1/4 cup of oil, and then we're going to be adding 5 to 6 cups of flour. Alright, let's go ahead and get our bread out. I did only put 5 cups in here, but it does feel a little sticky, so I might have to knead in anywhere between 1/2 to 3/4 cups of flour. I don't think it's going to need that whole last cup of flour. So I'm just going to knead this bread for 8 minutes. Now if you have one of those bread machines, will come in handy when you're making large batches of dough. I do not have one. That's okay. We got this. We're going to make it just like a grandmother would do it, by hand. At least we have the help of the stand mixer, where grandparents did not. Any kind of help we can get is appreciated. Anything we can do by hand is okay. You're gonna probably think, this is the longest 8 minutes of my life. And you are so correct, it is. But at the end of the day, having fresh baked bread that we're going to turn into French toast so we can have ready to heat and eat breakfasts in the freezer. Your future self is going to thank you. It's a little sticky, so I'm just incorporating a little bit of flour at a time. It's not sticking to me, but it is a little sticky. I think I'm regretting wearing long sleeves today. I'm just using the dough to mop up all the flour on our bench. Alright, I think we are good. Pinch the bottom. Add a little bit of olive oil. Swish, swish, swish. Flip. I'm going to label it. So we have our bread for French toast, some hamburger buns. I think it is time to get our sub bread on a baking sheet. I'm working with the half the dough for right now. I have parchment paper on the large baking sheet. We are going to weigh our dough. I want them about 3 ounces. Then we're just going to We're going to form these into a dough ball. And I'm going to make them a little bit long so we can have sub bread. Let me finish this and I'll bring you right back when we're ready to move on to the next step. So I have them covered up with plastic wrap. So we ended up with 22 sub bread. And I need to let those rise before we can bake them. All right, so we're going to oil our pans and we're going to oil the lids. I used coconut oil. The small one is a 1 pound loaf and the long one is a 2 pound loaf. And the dough I make is actually 3 pounds, so it's perfect. I'm just going to eyeball a third of this dough. You could be precise and weigh it if you want to. Too tedious for me, so I'm not going to do it. Alright, so we're going to flatten it out. This is the 2 pound section. I'm going to fold it into thirds. Fold it into thirds again. And now we're going to start rolling it up. Stretching as we're rolling. This seam right here is going to be the bottom. Let's tuck in our ends. Pinch it, make sure it's all closed up. Again, tuck in the ends. Pull it just a bit till we can get it a little bit longer. And in the loaf pan. Now we're going to repeat it with the smaller one. Fold it into thirds. Into thirds. Roll it up. It is very warm in this house now since we've had the oven on pretty much all day. It's not going to take long for this dough to rise. Again, the seam is going to be the bottom. In the pan. I have it covered with saran wrap. That way we can keep an eye of the bread rising without having to remove the lid constantly. Let me clean my station out, and I got a lot of dishes to wash. Yay! have the oven preheating to 375. We're going to go ahead and get our sub rolls in the oven. I am going to score them just a bit. Just putting one score line right down the middle, going down the top. They're not the prettiest sub rolls you've seen, but they're going to be delicious. So we're going to do the big pan first. Right now we're just going to bake these until they're nice and golden brown. I'm not sure about the time, but I will let you know. So I went ahead and cooked the second batch of sub breads. And I have one in here I already sliced. Look how beautiful that is. So gorgeous. So they took 28 minutes. They're not the prettiest things, but they're going to be good as subs. Then I went ahead and put the bread in the oven, 475 degrees for 45 minutes. We do need to check the temperature. It needs to be between 190 to 210. And we are at 210. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and take the lids off. Easier said than done. Okay, before I put them in the oven, I did slice down the center just so it'll have a breaking point without splitting. So we're going to let these cool completely before we take them out of the pan. So before I put the bread in the freezer in freezer bags, I do want to go ahead and slice them open. We do have some meatballs that we made a while back in the freezer that's already cooked. All we have to do is make a marinara sauce, and we can make meatball parmesan. We can use this for our home canned chicken salad. We can use this as garlic bread if we want to. This one's going to stay out of the freezer because we can have this for subs one day this week. Plus we can make garlic bread. And the other four have 4 in there. They're going to go in the freezer. So we made some sub breads the other day and I put 6 in the refrigerator. I'm going to make some delicious meatball parmesan. Went ahead and took a pack of our homemade pre-cooked heat and eat meatballs out of the freezer. Went ahead and took out a bag of frozen mozzarella. I have some Parmesan cheese. And this is actually a homemade pizza sauce we had made together. I can't remember if it was from our home canned pasta sauce we tweaked, or if we just opened cans of tomato products and added herbs and spices. Either way, this was in the freezer. That's what we're using. A parchment paper lined baking sheet. It's okay if they open up. It's fine. You know what? I think I need to go this away. So that gives me 4 sandwiches. I'll put a little bit of sauce right here on both sides of each one of these sub breads, or until I run out of sauce. So I'm just cutting the meatballs in half. I can get 1.5 meatball on each one of these sub breads. That is perfect. We're going to put some Parmesan cheese on the top half of each one of these sub breads. Now we're going to add just a pinch of Parmesan. We're going to put these in the oven and bake them until the cheese melts, the bread is toasted, and the meatballs are warm. Look at that, family. Ooh, that's so pretty. Very warm. I'm going to let this cool off just a bit. We went ahead and cut our loaf bread into slices, and I have them in Ziploc bags in the refrigerator. This is the 2-pound loaf. It fits in a gallon-sized bag, perfect. Just half is on the bottom and half is on top. And this is the 1-pound loaf. So I'm going to keep these in the refrigerator until we can get to the French toast. But don't worry, you're going to come along with me. And as for the meatball sub, homemade sub rolls, homemade meatballs, homemade marinara sauce. Let's taste this. Family, that is so good. And let me go ahead and finish my lunch. So I'm taking one of the meatball Parmesan to work me for lunch tomorrow. The other two I have wrapped up in plastic wrap, and I'm just going to stick this in the freezer. The husband can eat those anytime he wants. I'm going to go ahead and get a yogurt with some granola ready to take to work for lunch tomorrow. So I have the granola, I have the yogurt. I don't weigh this or measure this. Just pour until my heart's content. And that looks good to me. And now my lunch for tomorrow is packed and ready to walk out the door. Then we're going to go ahead and get started on that French toast. It's early in the morning. I have my coffee. Let's go ahead and crack some eggs. So I always put eggs, cinnamon, we'll say that's a teaspoon, and sugar. We're going to do about 1/8 of a cup. A pinch of salt, and we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of water. So I have the new to us cast iron griddle. I have it on medium low. I have our pan with our egg mixture right here. I have the very large baking sheet with some parchment paper. After we've cooked these, we'll put them right over here. We want the pan to be super, super hot. So we're just going to put our bread in the cinnamon sugar egg solution. And we're just going to put the bread in, give it a good flip, make sure we have egg on all sides. Again, just do it. We can get 8 on here. So we're just going to keep going until we get 8. I've said this before, this is the husband's favorite breakfast. And I like having French toast in the freezer at the ready for him. Alright, so we're just going to cook one side, then we're going to flip them, cook the other side, and repeat until we run out of bread. If we have to add more eggs to our solution, that's okay, we can do that. The French toast is done. I got them sitting on the cookie sheet or baking sheet to let them cool before we freeze those. I have the 4 pieces of the end bread in this Ziploc bag. We're going to stick this in the freezer until we're ready to make some more bread cubes or breadcrumbs, whatever we need. Out of the 2 loaves of bread we made, a 2-pound and the 1-pound, I did eat 4 slices of bread. I had a chicken salad sandwich yesterday for lunch, and then I took a chicken salad sandwich to work. So we have 27 pieces of French toast. Gonna let these cool off before we put them in the freezer. The French toast has cooled off. I just had a towel on it just to keep from anything to get on it, but I like to put mine in groups of 3. I'm just using this parchment paper. We do separate each slice with the parchment paper. And then we'll put that in a Ziploc bag. We have sandwich bags that we're going to put the portion of 3 in this sandwich bag. We're going to get all of these wrapped up into 3s. Family, perfect amount of sandwich bags. Ooh, we couldn't have planned that any better. So we're going to take our gallon size freezer bags. And this lonely little package we're going to leave out. Now we have 2 bags of 4 with 3 French toast in each. So I'm going to put the 2 gallon size freezer bags with 4 servings of 3 French toast each in the freezer. We're going to leave this one out for the husband to have for breakfast. tomorrow. I just want to say thank you for hanging out with me while we made some sub bread and some regular bread to make French toast and subs. Out of that sub bread, we made some meatball parmesan. Delicious, family. So if you don't mind, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe. I would love to have you part of the Grammy family. Hit that notification bell so you'll know each time we put up a video. If you would, share this on your social media feed so that we can get the word out that you can have healthy, nutrient-dense food in the freezer, canning, or easy, simple meals we can cook every night. Stop buying boxes, stop buying processed food, and make real food yourself. Right over here you'll see 2 videos. I hope you find them entertaining and a source for inspiration. Until next time, y'all have a blessed day. Bye, family.